Hey, what is up? Welcome back, Design Squad, and in this video I want to talk to you about UX portfolios, but kind of reverse the tables and talk to you from hiring manager's perspective, from design lead or head of UX or product design senior, let's say whoever is going to assess your portfolios, because that's what juniors tend to just overlook. But I guess as you grow and you learn how exactly industry works and how the hiring managers make their decisions, you're going to become much more sharper and you're going to know how to juggle the pieces so that you can get ahead. And different design cultures are going to assess your portfolio very differently. Design teams usually pool the portfolios. That's probably the best ways, because biases are very hard to avoid, but if you have a lot of eyes looking at the same thing, then you can have challenging points and you can actually paint a better picture. For example, if I might think personally that that candidate from their portfolio, from their experience, doesn't seem like a good fit for, let's say, user research team, maybe I need to pass it by researchers and they might completely disagree with me, and then we arrive at some sort of conclusion to make a decision otherwise. In the smaller teams and smaller organizations, there might be just a single designer who maybe wants to scale and expand the design division and capability, and so it could be just one person hiring. So you also need to account for that. You know, when you apply for bits, you prepare your portfolio, think exactly what organization you're applying for. You can always find out how mature that design capability is. Usually it comes down to, let's say, evangelism, publicity. You can even check on LinkedIn, different social media to find out if there are designers from that capability and just see exactly what they're about, what we do, what we tweet, what we share, what sort of material they're showcasing to public. Are they proud to be a part of that organization? And you can also think then, okay, if that organization is mature enough, their processes to assess the candidates are also going to be much more mature. And that's where I'm going to segue into actual practicalities. And some of the bits which people overlook are, for example, that hiring managers don't really spend hours assessing your portfolio. I spoke publicly with some of the people here and there in articles and videos about how hiring manager might spend maybe 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes tops if they have that time assessing a portfolio. Because a good portfolio always stands out. You can just have a glance at it. You might spend just a minute looking through and you immediately know if a person knows what they're talking about, if they have enough of experience and case studies can actually back it up, that they, let's say, can actually do the job. And you might think that it's a little bit unfair that hiring managers might not spend, hours assessing your portfolio, but you also need to recognize that if you get, let's say, 30, 40, 50 applicants, if you get 5 portfolios a day to assess, you could block out an hour a day to do so. If you're not new to design field, you know how much that hour costs and how much of the effort that is and how much of a sacrifice that is. None of the hiring managers are going to have hours to do so. We might have half an hour of lunch, and during that lunch we might eat a sandwich and just check, oh, these are today's applicants, are there any good enough? And we're just going to skim those portfolios and just maybe shortlist some of them based off their skills, how you portray yourself on your portfolio. Is portfolio good enough? The cases might showcase your past. They might be relevant to a new positions, they might be not so much, and the hiring managers are always going to think if that person has a potential. One way which I like to look at it is this graph I have in my mind, where basically, you might have your progression, your history of different positions, and it usually starts with, let's say, entry level, so it could be apprentices, interns. Then you have junior, midweight, senior, lead and beyond positions. And imagine that this is your, let's say, x-axis in that graph. And on the y-axis, you might have low and high importance. There are 2 different pillars when it comes to your portfolio and how hiring managers might evaluate it. One is definitely that potential I was just talking about. And that curve usually goes, it's very important in the beginning because, let's say, your studies, your knowledge, your pet projects from boot camps might indicate potential. It doesn't indicate yet that you have 5 years, 10 years, 15 years of experience. It doesn't indicate yet that you have tangible ability to deliver tangible results. And so potential here in a consideration is very high. And it's usually as you go throughout the years from, let's say, entry level to lead and beyond, that potential kind of like weans off. And another curve is tangible results, which then feeds into potential. But I like to separate those, so just to demonstrate that your portfolio cases have to be squeaky clean and they have to be easily digestible. Again, coming back to the time point, you don't have much time to assess as a hiring manager anyways. What you have there is less important at the beginning, because let's say a bootcamp case with just a few outcomes saying, hey, users were happy and they actually enjoyed using your apps, could be good enough to get you entry-level position. But on the other end of the spectrum, if you talk about leads and beyond, let's say head of UX, well, you're gonna need to display numbers and what are actual tangible KPIs, metrics. Let's say maybe a conversion rate improved by 60% is a big number, and that's what was gonna be expected of you as a leader. Maybe you grew a design team from 5 to 20. That's a big number, that's tangible results, and you can then talk about how you get there. But your portfolio, your resume, your things you talk about in screening calls gonna have to portray that. And so ability to represent the tangible results then goes up. The more you go in your career, the more tangible of the results you're gonna need to represent. And floating mock-ups in a portfolio, let's say even for visual designers, is not gonna do the justice. And now to hammer that point about the potential, and the last takeaway in this video is that the hiring managers are always going to want relevant case studies. And so, the more experience you have, the more tangible results you have, you're going to accumulate a set of case studies, which you then can pick and choose and assemble your portfolio in, let's say, a PDF or a platform. It doesn't really matter. But the more relevant the cases are to the position, to the company, to the design culture, to the industry as a whole, the bigger the potential is going to showcase, because you have some skin in the game. You experience those challenges the designers already experience. You know exactly, or at least a little bit more than usual, how to navigate them, how to navigate different cultures. You know the customer already. Your potential immediately jumps up, and then you're gonna stand out from the crowd of designers who applied. Additionally, I keep hammering these points throughout my videos, that you can always boost your potential even if you don't have case studies. For example, you might be applying for shared economy and transport positions, and Uber is prime example of that, and you might not have any cases which support that. It might not boost and showcase your potential to contribute. Why not to start blogging about it? You can also redesign and make conceptual case studies. It's gonna act like the evidence for your hiring managers then to see, maybe they don't have those case studies to support and be employable immediately. However, we have this blog post or a video or a fictitious case study where we redesigned our app and showcased evidence, maybe the user research, user tested on actual users, and these are the outcomes. And so in the end of the day, if you know that the hiring managers have a limited capability to view everything, you know that your portfolio has to showcase just the best bit, which are the most relevant for that situation, that context. You know that that's going to draw the most potential and going to showcase the most potential to contribute. You then can adjust and tailor your portfolio to the specific case, to the specific opportunity you're applying for. And so if you have any questions on that, leave a comments down below. Give a like, subscribe to this channel if you want to see more material like this. Share it with your friends, and as per usual, I'll see you next time.